Okay, here we go. I call this meeting of the Magnolia Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. So if everybody will please stand. Ms. McDonald is going to lead us in our invocation.
It's been our tradition to start our meetings with a prayer. If you choose to bow your heads and pray with me, I wish that you would. Dear Father, thank you so much for this day of life that you've given us. Thank you for letting us live in this great country, the great state of Texas, and also the city of Magnolia. Father, I thank you for our law enforcement. I thank you for the parents and the students that we have in this school district. I thank you for the teachers and the administrators, and I just thank you for everything that's so great about our place that we live. Father, just give us the wisdom to do your will and to make great decisions for our school district. And we pray all these things through the name of your Son, Christ Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, if we'd stay standing, and Colton and Araceli, where did she go? Right here. If you guys could come up and lead us in our pledges. You're going to lead us in the U.S. and you're in the Texas one, right? So lead us in the U.S. first, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, great. Everybody be seated except Colton. You can stay up here.
Oh, Colton.
All right. Thank you, Board of Trustees and Dr. Stevens, for the opportunity to recognize one of our outstanding students. Vince Lombardi Jr. once said, "The dictionary is the only place that success comes before work. Work is the key to success, and hard work can help you accomplish anything." Our student of the month not only knows this to be true, but lives it in his daily life in everything he does. It's an honor to introduce Colton Musgrove as the MPES Student of the Month. Colton has his own fan club here tonight to support him. His parents, Kirk and Kelly Musgrove, wave. Grandparents, Kenneth and Dorothy Musgrove, aka me, Mom, Papa. Colton's older brother, Cody, who could not attend this evening, and older sister, Keegan, who attends Magnolia High School, and many other family members as well. Also here tonight are Colton's 5th grade teachers, Julie Hart and Suzanne Haynes. 1st grade teacher, Natalie Caslow, and one of his former co-teachers, Carolyn Curtin, our assistant principal, Sarah Bellini, and counselor, Sherry Strickland. Colton is currently in 5th grade at MPES. He's a member of our student council. Within student council, Colton exhibits great leadership through various school activities, service projects, and fundraising efforts. He comes to school every day with a smile on his face and the desire to excel in all he does. He is the true definition of perseverance and hard work. Regardless of the challenge you put in front of Colton, he tackles all tasks head-on with grit and determination. His relentless positive attitude and joyful spirit attribute to the reason his peers look to him as a positive role model. Ms. Hart says, "Colton is the kind of student that defines what teachers love about their jobs. He comes to school with a smile on his face and ready to give his best every day. Not only is he a conscientious student, but he is also a fantastic athlete and friend, which I might add, not many teachers look forward to recess duty, and that's the one reason Ms. Hart loves to go out to recess. It has been a joy to watch his confidence grow through his hard work and dedication. I can't wait to see what the rest of the school year brings for this exceptional young man. Ms. Haynes shared that I'm so proud of Colton and his accomplishments this year. When I think of perseverance and dedication, Colton is the first student that comes to mind. He truly never gives up, even when things are difficult. Colton has such a positive attitude and warm spirit. In addition to being an excellent student, he is a kind friend to his classmates. Colton is truly such a positive role model for his peers and the younger students in our building. We are lucky to have him at Parkway. First grade teacher Ms. Caslow added, I can honestly say Colton is one of the most genuinely kind and hardworking students I have ever had the pleasure to teach. I'm so proud of him and feel lucky to have been one of his teachers. When Colton is not at school, you will likely find him outdoors enjoying some of his favorite hobbies, such as football, basketball, baseball, fishing, and hunting. At this time, Colton plans on attending Texas Christian University and has dreams of becoming a professional football player. We have no doubt Colton will accomplish his goals, and anyone that has the privilege of being part of his journey will be a better person for it.
Thank you, Mr. Baker.
I'd like to thank Dr. Stevens and the school board for inviting us here tonight to present Magnolia Junior High's Student of the Month, Araceli Uvalye. I'm still working on that last name. Araceli is an 8th grade student at MJH this year, and maybe the most deserving student MJH has ever produced in terms of this award. And that's really high praise. Now, Araceli is joined tonight by her mother, Deborah, up here in the front, her father, Jose, her little brother, Antonio, who has told me he is YouTubing this whole thing, and a teacher at our school that's just kind of newly her teacher, but is more, I don't know, you're more of like her assistant, and that's Miss Robertson, who works in our life skills classroom. Now, here's the thing with Araceli. Most students who win this award, understandably, are kind of win this award. They distinguish themselves either through academic excellence or their extracurricular participation. And that's not to say that Araceli doesn't have those things. She makes high marks in all her classes. She's a member of the MJH band. But what has distinguished Araceli is something more. It should come as no surprise to any of you who have middle school children or who have had middle school children that one of the things that we're most concerned about is who they are becoming as people. It's why in our mission statement, character development is a very close second to learning. But when it comes to character, we've got a lot to learn from Araceli. And this is how, what's amazing about kind of this award is the way we run it over at Magnolia Junior High is teachers vote. Every month, teachers get to vote on a roster of students who have been selected through a weekly award that we have, and then they produce a Student of the Month out of that. Araceli earned the most votes from teachers of any student we've ever had. Here's why. When I asked teachers why, and staff members why they chose to vote for Araceli, they said the word selfless. Araceli, from the very beginning of the year and with no prompting, decided to start assisting some students and some of the most vulnerable students on our campus that could use some help. Ms. Robertson can speak to this. In her classroom, in her life skills classroom, she has a variety of students who have special needs, and she works tirelessly with those students all the time, and any pair of hands that can help her accomplish her goals on a daily basis are welcome. And Araceli showed up out of the blue to assist. Now, with most student aides, your expectations are, especially at junior high, what you might expect. You have to do a lot of teaching. You don't think that you're probably going to be able to ask them to do very much at all. But one of the great parts of Araceli is that Ms. Robertson has never had to worry a bit about asking her to help and what she's going to do with those students. So Araceli can routinely be found escorting some of these students through the halls to their out classes. She's sitting with one particular student at lunch every single day. And this is for nothing. It's not because she is earning any kind of
extra credit for it or getting some kind of special pat on the back. It's because she wants to help. When I sat with Araceli to just ask her about why she chooses to do these things, she told me a little bit about growing up and saying that, through some tough times that she kind of experienced, she kind of realized that there is essentially a dignity to every individual, and every individual just deserves our respect. And she doesn't feel that that is absent to anyone, that she feels that applies to everyone, and she wants to assist wherever she can in helping that those people and any people feel respected. Pretty amazing kid. Now, although I think she should have a future in education, Araceli tells me that she would like to go on and either become an architect or pursue something in technology. And she's got her sights firmly fixed on that. She came to MISD as a 4th grader and went to Lyon Elementary before going on in 6th grade and now to us, and she'll soon be on to West, and we are going to miss her desperately. She is an outstanding individual, and it is my distinct honor to recognize her this month as Magnolia Junior High Student of the Month.
Come on, we're not done. You guys are special kids. Face out here. I've got certificates for you. This is Colton's. This is Araceli's. And you know what? If you want to play football, there's a few of them lined up
Guys,
there.
right over there, he needs to meet, right over there.
Catch these guys before they leave, all right? And you're never too young to be a great role model. That's just awesome. You guys are awesome. So I think we ought to give them another round. Well, we've got somebody here to bring you something a little bit more than just a certificate. So Devam is here to make a presentation and give you something a little extra.
Hi everyone, my name is Jackie. I'm with Devam Urgent Care, and we have $50 gift cards for each of them just to say congratulations. You're welcome.
Good job, guys. Never too young to be a good role model.
No, absolutely. What an outstanding month, too. 2 of them here.
That's
So proud of her. We gotta talk her into becoming a teacher. I'm telling you. Okay, we got a few more years, but we can work.
Talk them into going to A&M.
Talk to you.
Okay, Dr. Todd, I think you're next.
Is this, this is me. This is me. I'm up. January, across the state of Texas, school districts are honoring our school trustees for the service that they provide to their district, the leadership, the vision, just the being here on a regular basis and supporting all the great things that go on within our districts across the state of Texas. And so I'm here to represent collectively not only our kiddos, but our teachers and our parents, administrators, who I gave the night off to tonight because this is not our regularly scheduled board meeting, so we've got a few of them that were here, but to just let you know how important your work is. Someone just recently gave me a book and said, as a superintendent, you really need to read it. It's called This Stubborn Soil. And if you're interested in it, I've got a copy of it, but it's out of print. But it's a story about East Texas family and a community in the early 1900s. And obviously a lot of it's about just growing up in Texas or whatever, but a lot of it centers around
one-room schoolhouse and the struggles that that community went through to ensure that their kids had a chance for public education, and how dear and important that was to them. And I just want to remind you guys that you've been given a very sacred legacy that have been on the backs of a lot of moms and dads through a lot of years in this state to help bring us to where we are with public education, and even right here in our community. As we think, as I even, in a little limited time that I hear, to know of all of those people. We honored one last month, Glenn Addison, for his service, and to think of those board members that, before you guys, that have served to help lay the foundation for where we are now, that we can honor our students and be able to see the successes that our kids had because of it. And I just want you to remember all those that have come before us, and to get us to where we are here now. And I can assure all of you that this is an outstanding board, and the future for this district is bright, and y'all are gonna continue to set the bar higher and higher. When we start talking about what that best is gonna look like, this group has given us some new definitions of that. And so I'm so proud of them, and I know the future of this district is gonna be bright because of their leadership. And so again, I'm just here to say thank you. If I haven't told you lately, I appreciate you, every one of you. And it's an honor to serve with you. It's a team of 8. We work together, but you guys are the elected officials here, and thanks so much for what you've given to our students in this community. And I think we're gonna stand and give you a standing ovation. If you just keep seated here, but thanks so much for what you do. And with that, I'm done.
Thank you, Dr. Todd. It's an honor and a privilege to do what we do. That's for sure. And we don't take it lightly. It's a great privilege to do. We enjoy the service, the opportunity to do it. So,
We're
with
up.
that, Coach Spratt.
Let's go. Well, Mr. Booth and Dr. Stevens and school board, it's always an honor for me to get up and present the presenters, if you will, and what they do. Obviously, we have a football team from Magnolia High here tonight. I think that's pretty obvious. I want to say a couple of things about football. I do love it, I'm not gonna lie. Was in it for many, many years, still feel like I am. I can't think of a better place for a young man to grow up, a boy, if you will, to become a man. There's not any other sport where it's 105 degrees and somebody tells you to put on 40 pounds of equipment and go out and hit somebody. That requires a toughness and a mental toughness, not just a physical toughness, but a toughness that you can't really get anywhere else. I've always likened it about the closest thing that it comes to. Football to me is about the closest thing to the military as there is. There's a camaraderie, a family. I'm saying all this for a reason. There's a sense of working with each other, doing things for each other, playing hard for each other. And the reason I said all those things is they're led by a guy that not only have I had an opportunity to watch coach since I've been here, I got a chance to coach him. And when he was at the University of Houston, I was fortunate enough to be one of his offensive line coaches, and then not only do that, but hire him for his first job when I was the head football coach out at Evelyn Cooper. Came to us wet behind the ears, and here he stands. They've won 25 games in the last 3 years. You guys have been a huge part of that, and the reason why that happens. But I'm going to tell you a little something that I used to always say, and then I'm going to let you have it, Coach, and that is that, life is not all about football, but I can promise you football is all about life. It will teach you the things you need to move forward in life and become a man. You'll know what to do. There's a family thing going on here. There's a camaraderie that goes on here. You can't capture again. You seniors, if you're not going off to play somewhere, you need to take what you've learned and work that in your families, in your communities, all right, and everything that you do. It's something that I long for, that I haven't had as a player in many, many, many moons. And I'm telling you, you can't get it back. So I'm proud of these guys. And the reason I said all those things is to me, they do those things. Our coaching staff and Coach Doty's amassed a great bunch of guys, but these guys represent. And the reason they represent is because of these guys in the polo shirts, all right? But because these guys decided they wanted to be a part of that. They bought in, they said, tell us what to do, coach. We're willing to work hard. We want to do what we want to do it the way it's supposed to be done. We want to be the best. And you can't be the best if you're not willing to try to be the best. You got to risk failure. It's hard. You go out there on Friday night, everybody wants you to win, but you got to risk failure. And so there's a lot of people in life won't do that. They get scared. They don't want to do that. They don't want to risk it. They don't want to step out on the plank. They don't want to do that. They want to take the safe way out. You didn't do that. Not only did you not take the safe way out, you took the hard way in. And when you take the hard way in, that requires sweat and work and family and commitment. So I'm proud of y'all, proud to be in Magnolia, and proud to be a Bulldog. Next Monday night, I'll have to be a Mustang, but right now I'm a Bulldog tonight, and I'm proud of you, Coach Doty, and we'll let you talk about it. Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, board. Thank you, Dr. Stevens, all the administration team down here at the ESC. Thank you for all your support, all your backing, and the many, many things that you guys do for us. Thank you for allowing me to gather such a great group of coaches together to mentor our football team and our other athletic teams at the high school. Dr. Metz, our high school principal, can't thank him enough for his leadership, his mentorship of myself, and his leadership within the building, how to run a great administration team there on our campus, and it filters out through the teachers and throughout the staff. And so thank you, and thank you to Coach Spradlin for all your guidance and your mentorship along the way. And glad that to call you my boss and my athletic director. And so thank you for all that you do for us. Also, I want to thank this group of young men that we have before us. It's a special, special group. I was hired here right 4 years ago, back March of 2013. And so I guess it'll be coming up on 5, but this is our 4th season. And so this group of 2018 seniors, they were 8th graders. And my first day on the job, I believe it was March 3rd, had the opportunity on a Monday to go down there and see these guys work out and talk to them and start to create a vision. And these guys, the reason why we've been able to win 25 games in 3 years and have one of the most successful classes that have ever come through Magnolia High School is because they bought in. From day one, they bought into what we were selling and the message that, through our hard work, we're going to reap the benefits. And along the way, we're going to develop character and become great men, great husbands, and great fathers. At some point, these men will all accomplish those things. And so we had a very challenging non-district schedule in front of us. Had 6A team there at Katie Taylor, who beat us at home by right at 30 points. And then we, because of the Hurricane Harvey, changed some things up and ended up facing a regional powerhouse in A&M Consolidated at home. Came out of that 1-1. We learned a lot. Went on the road to beat a 6A Katie Taylor football team that went to the playoffs again this year. And that set us up for a very, very challenging district. I believe one of the toughest districts in the whole region, in Region 3. Very, very deep. In fact, this year we had 6 teams. All of them could have been playoff teams. All of our scores were really, really close and came down to, pain of discipline or pain of regret there in the 4th quarter. And we were able to pull a majority of those out. We finished a district record of 4-3. We were 3-3 going into our last ball game. Our playoff lives at stake. On top of that, we had to go into another regional power that's been to state championships in the past, and they've been on top of the mountain.
and we had to go into their house and slay the dragon, if you will. And so with our backs up against the wall, we came out swinging and took down Brenham, who was also playing for the playoff lives. So they had plenty to play for as well. We ended up beating them 35-28. With that, it earned the right to represent District 25A as the second seed there in Division I. So that's our bigger division, so we're the second seed, and that matched us up with number 5 team in the state out of Austin, Cedar Park. And played them over at Bastrop Memorial and went toe-to-toe with them every step of the way and had an opportunity there to pull it out late, but fell short there 24-20, but extremely proud of our effort that night and the performance that we put out on the field. We had 25 players out of, right there, that right underneath 60 young men on our team. 25 of them were an A average through the football season. So through the spring semester, we had 25 academic all-district players. We had 16 academic all-state players, which is one of the top 3 in the whole region for amount of academic excellence in the classroom. And those are awarded to the seniors, so 25 academic all-districts and 16 academic all-states. On the football field, we had 16 all-district selections, and we had over 8 all-county selections from our football team. So it tells you a little bit about what other people thought of us as a football team. So it was a great run. Extremely proud of these guys. We've got our banquet we're going to celebrate one more time, this 2017 group, next week. But class of 2018, you guys set the bar high. Only the third time in Magnolia history have they ever been to the playoffs 3 years in a row. And so that's a great accomplishment that this group can take with them and always come back to the field house and look at the pictures of the team and be able to tell their kids about the success that they had at Magnolia High School. And in the 19, 20, and 21 group, they'll have the opportunity to try to make history, try to make it 4 in a row. That's what we're working for right now. So that's going to be a great development as we move forward. I would also like to thank the parents that were here, that were able to come tonight. Appreciate all of y'all's hard work and support behind the scenes, work that you guys do. Miss Bond there in the back, Miss Kitchens, Mr. Glover, Mr. Woods here this evening, who's representing his son, who's already graduated in 3.5 years, and he's already up at University of Arkansas. Just saw a video that they had posted on Twitter of Mike already working out there. So we appreciate you, Miss Garrigan, appreciate you being here, Mr. Baker and Miss Baker, thank you. The Kings, thank you all for coming. The Masons and Miss Motter, thank you for coming. So with that, I'll introduce these guys, and then I'll introduce the staff here in the back, and we can move forward. So, all right, up first is going to be Reese Mason. Alex Laramendi. Jake Watts. Nathan Hakes. In the weight room. Miles Bergeron. Freshman. Jake Hopper. Carter King. Ben Renfro. Jackson Colvin. Avery Baker. Hunter Kitchens. Clay Roach. Bo Willis. Hayden Kelly. Gavin Mason. Jordan Soderquist. Aiden Garrigan. 232. All right. Caleb Wall. Robert Parr. Justin Motter. Hayden White. Christian Glover. Cade Bond. Dalton Taylor. Cole Varon. Colton Casedo. Andy Canas. Hunter Pleasant. Uriel Gutierrez. Latoro Bernal. And Johnny Wiley. All right, let's give these Bulldogs a round. Now the coaching staff, our defense coordinator, Jason Johns. David Allison works with our wide receivers. Co-offensive coordinator, Colt Kelly. Did I say Jason Johns? Okay, Jason Jones, I apologize. There's another defensive coordinator, Jason Johns. Jason Jones, I know my personnel. K-Ron Johnson works with our defensive line. Kellen Lukers, our co-offensive coordinator, works with our quarterbacks. J.P. Norman works with our running backs. Brian Sides works with our secondary. Mike Cranfield works with our inside linebackers. Aaron Myers works with our outside linebackers. Josh McNeil works with our offensive line. And Garrett Henson works with our defensive line. Round of applause for these coaches. Thank you, guys.
I do want to say,
Appreciate it.
all right, there's 4 teams get in the playoffs, 8-team district, 3 years in a row, right, Duddy?
Yes.
Both teams in Magnolia been in, means we're taking up 2 slots. By the way, when you go down to Tomball, that ain't happening down there.
Well, I noticed everybody's poised by the door, but before you leave, I want to, for the benefit of the parents, thank you, Coach Doty and Coach Spradlin, thank you very much. For the benefit of the parents, part of the reason this is such a joy to recognize all the kids we do tonight is because of the great job the administrators do. I mean, I'm talking from Dr. Todd to his team, to the coaches, to the administration on campus. They just do a fantastic job. Dr. Todd talks about our school board recognition month, but the fact is our job is easy because of the great job that all these guys do. And that's the reason we get to have this recognition every month. We get to do this and recognize a lot of guys that do a lot of great things because of the great job that everybody's doing in the administration and all the teaching organization within the school. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. All right, so now at this time, I notice all these guys are poised near the door, but at this time we're gonna recess for 5 minutes. So those of you that might want to leave can, but you're certainly welcome to stay.
They've got lots of homework to do when they get home tonight. Let them go.
It's so exciting. I'm not last. That's all she.
Yes.
That's all she cares.
He won't come back. I went first. I'm sorry.
It wouldn't.
Kristen was mine. She's almost like, as soon as I come through the door.
Okay, we'll get back to order now. Ms. Hinkleman, do we have anybody signed up to speak?
Yes, sir, I laid 2 sheets right there, and that's it.
Okay, all right. Okay, before we go into that, I've got a statement I need to read for those who are going to speak. Participants must have turned in a request form and must have followed administrative channels before addressing the board. Participation is limited to 5 minutes. Any complaint or charge brought against an employee by name opposition must be addressed through the proper administrative channels and will not be addressed directly through this agenda item. Please note that the board of trustees shall not deliberate, respond, or make decisions regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda that is posted. So we've got two that want to join us tonight. One of them is Hugh Fullerton. Sure. Please.
Good evening, board members. My name is Hugh Fullerton, as was just announced. I live in Country Forest West, right down 1488, across from the Magnolia Parkway School. Interestingly, just behind practically the tract of land that you're probably going to approve the purchase of in a few minutes, although that's not my main reason for being here tonight. If you look down the easement towards 1488 from our property, I can actually see part of that parcel. It's all woods, but it's not far away. You might wonder why I'm here. I'm just an ordinary taxpayer, retired. I've lived in Montgomery County for 20 years come August, and in the Magnolia School District for 10 years as of this month. I have no one involved in the schools or the school district. In fact, my daughter was educated in the public schools of 2 other states many years ago. Very satisfactory education. I was delighted all the way, and I'm a public school graduate myself in another state. In my particular situation, I found it of interest that somebody mentioned Vince Lombardi earlier tonight, because I actually grew up 2 short blocks from the high school where he began his coaching career, the local parochial school. I attended the public school, and believe me, his teams, although the school is much smaller, gave us some tough times on the football field. Okay, what piqued my curiosity, I'm sure those of you who live in the area, and I assume almost all of you do, see this service called Nextdoor that serves all kinds of purposes. You can get a new cat or sell something, or there's postings of community events. I think it's a very fine service. My subdivision subscribes to it, put us on it. But it would appear from conversations that I've seen on Nextdoor recently that this proposal to make the district a district of innovation could be a controversial one. Okay, I don't know anything about it, and that's why I'm here. Here I live a few miles away. My neighbors have children in some cases, and I don't know a thing about the program that the district is probably going to embark on. I looked at last month's agenda. I actually watched the video to see the presentations and the discussion, and by the way, the audio on that video is terrible. I could barely hear the gentleman who stood up here and presented the proposal. I could not hear anything that board members were saying during the entire time I watched the video. I did not sit through the whole 2-hour video or whatever it was. But something needs to be done. If people are expected to get their news about what the board is doing by the video that's posted online, it's a failure. Okay, what I'm going to request is for somebody in the school district to make an appointment with me to fill me as an ordinary citizen in on what the District of Innovation is all about. Now that term innovation is, as we know, an in term right now. My daughter lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. She works with large companies in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, and everybody wants to be the innovator. And that's true really nationwide in a lot of walks in life. So the word innovation really doesn't mean anything anymore. The state probably stuck it on there, you folks
Mr.
didn't.
Fullerton, you have 1 minute.
Holy smokes. Anyway, my plea to you is improve your public information. As a 10-year resident, and by the way, a retired college professor, I shouldn't have to come to find out what the District of Innovation is. I shouldn't have to come to find out that you're about to spend $2.6 million to buy property within sight of my back door. I really think that could be improved. But in the meantime, if anybody can take a few minutes next week or whenever to fill me in on what this District of Innovation program, I personally would consider it a very great favor. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, Mr. Fullerton, for coming tonight. We appreciate your feedback, your comments. Okay, the next one is David Culberson.
I can speak pretty loudly without a microphone, but
As you wish.
if you can't hear me, please let me know. I wanted to just come on behalf of Magnolia Aquatic Club. It's a USA swimming program that Magnolia ISD hosts and owns throughout the area. We work out strictly over at the natatorium on Magnolia High School property. Of late, there's been some recent awards been issued out, and I wanted to bring to the attention of the board of the one that is very proud, very dear to our hearts, is that over the course of the entire United States, there's hundreds and hundreds of swimming programs, USA swimming programs, and Magnolia Aquatic Club was just ranked number 12 in the nation. Now, this is far and above what anybody else has really done and seen, because we have such a small, intimate group of individuals. We're competing against programs that have hundreds and thousands of students and athletes. Again, at Nitro is out of Austin. They were ranked, I believe, one ahead of us, and they have, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 to 3,000 swimmers. We accomplished this feat with about 160 swimmers. Throughout that, a couple of the things that we've highlighted is we're working on a brag sheet for our program to hand out to everybody, our students, our athletes, to be able to show and share. We've had 5 swimmers go to the 2017 World Trials, 2 national championships from 18 and unders, 1 national finalist, 2 World Junior Team qualifiers, 4 World Junior Silver medalists, 2 USA National Junior Team members, and these students are not just only in Magnolia ISD. We are drawing kids from outside our district to come and train with Coach Jones, Coach McFarland, Coach Norman, Coach Mills, and Coach McCorvey. We are drawing, if you can think about this, we're pulling kids from the Woodlands, Tomball, I believe somebody mentioned that, and they're coming here to train with our coaches and our swimmers to be the next Olympic trial qualifiers. We've had, I believe it was 3 qualifiers in that last year at Olympic trials. 2 made semifinals. Now that, if you don't know, is a heartbeat away from making the Olympic team, which is then moving on and participating in Rio. Through all that, all the way down to our younger kids, we have multiple Texas State champions. My daughter was one of them a year or 2 ago. Mary Norman won the high point. She was the number 1 11 and 12-year-old girl in the entire state of Texas. So the things that these coaches are doing are absolutely amazing. And I personally, we lived over in Spring. We moved our family. I picked up my wife, my 4 kids, 3 and a half of which swim at Magnolia. I won't rank the 5-year-old because she's 5. But the other 3 are swimming full-time there. We practice 6 days a week, and over the Christmas break, 2 weeks, these kids swam over 57 miles in 2 weeks. That's 2 times a day, between 2 to 3 hours each session, so 6 hours a day, plus dry lands. Now, I was talking with Coach Spradlin. I can remember being a football player. I know the 105-degree weather. I've done that all. I don't rue that on anybody, but what I see these kids doing from the ages of 7, 8, all the way to 18 is just downright amazing. And I wanted to let everybody know what Coach Jones, Coach McFarland, Coach Norman, and Coach Mills are doing over there in this program inside our district. The one last thought is, as we talk about state champions, the 6A state champions, the Woodlands High, College Park, Tomball, all those kids train at Magnolia. So we are sending these kids out, and they're dominating across the state of Texas. All of them going to college, D1s, and they're all coming from our back door. So that's what I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, so y'all know what's going on just down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Culberson. Thank you both. We appreciate you taking time to come talk to us. We value that, those comments, and thank you for your time to do it. Yep. Mr. Brenner's next, I believe.
Just want to take this opportunity to bring you up to date on our remaining bond construction projects. I do have photos this month. Figured out how to download them from my new camera, so this will be exciting. Just to touch on Magnolia Intermediate, this is just kind of rehashing what we talked about last month. The school is substantially complete. We're working on punch list items. We've got the bulk of the furniture ordered, and we'll start moving that in late next month. Bear Branch Intermediate. This project is getting very close to completion. We are working on touch-up painting, a little bit of last-minute flooring. Mostly it's down to the technology stuff. Doing terminations there. We kind of wait till the very end to move into kind of high-end interactive TVs and things like that. So all that'll be going on over the next month and a half. Come March 1, we have to start moving furniture in there as well, so that we can do a spring break turnover for at least a portion of that building. The additions are on pace to be completed by spring break as well. Talking about the band hall and the PE locker rooms. Welcome to Bear Branch Intermediate. We just got the new graphics up. It looks pretty good. For some reason, this one's ahead of Magnolia Intermediate. One of the few things they were ahead of on that phase. Shot of the interior, Main Street, a lot of daylight coming through there. Obviously, these aren't quite as pretty because the floors are all covered with, they're being protected. But you can see these areas are ready to go. There's your main reception as you come in. Shot of the library, kind of gives you an idea of the different color scheme over there. Shot of the cafeteria. This is ready to go.
Kind of stealing our thunder before we tour over there.
I know. But this is,
it will be more impressive in person, I'm sure.
This is the first time I've been able to kind of give you some of these finished looks over at that campus. See how I kind of missed last month. Again, the kitchen. This has been looked at by the health department. They've signed off on it. We have a few pieces that we have to move from the existing kitchen, some of the newer equipment that was in there that we are going to be able to salvage. So outside of that, and a last minute inspection from the health department, we should be able to roll on the kitchen. Gymnasium, it's all done, all buttoned up, floor's covered up, it's ready to go. This is I may call this the Dr. Stevens walkway, but this is the covered canopy, or the
just what I always wanted.
Canopy covered sidewalk, if you will, that leads from the new intermediate down to the junior high parking lot. This is to allow us to load students one time, all 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th at one time. So we had, we need to give them some way to get down there when it's raining.
It'll be worth it just to get them.
The shot of the restroom, you can see some of the last minute things. Those are the hand dryers. We've got to get those hardwired in. These are some of the last minute issues. Oops. That's the new PE locker room. Again, it's very close to completion. Shot of the band hall on the other side. By next month, I'll bring you some nice finished pictures of the interior. The district conference center has finally started to pick up a little bit of steam. The conference center, I'm just going to tell you folks right now. You can see that last button item there. It has fallen behind schedule. We have now moved the completion date to May 1, although the contractor is making, a lot of efforts to try to pick up this schedule. A lot of it's been due to, from Hurricane Harvey to the freezing temperatures didn't help them when we're doing exterior finish, when we're doing brickwork, all that stuff has to come to a complete halt. Any waterproofing, any of that, it gets too cold, you just can't do it. That's kind of making excuses. I think there's been some other things that, from subcontractor-wise, that's hurt Teal Construction in this. They have gone to an overtime schedule. I know that they're spending a lot of money. Their subs are spending a lot of money to try to make up this time. So keeping my fingers crossed, I'm looking at May 1 as a latest date. But as of right now, they are on the exterior finish, the brick veneer, the drywall. They're taping and floating the drywall. So I think the interior finishes will go quickly. Once we get the building envelope completed and get the HVAC units turned on, kind of get conditioned space, we'll be able to make up a lot of time. But right now, we're kind of waiting on them to finish the building envelope. That's kind of where we're at on that. Here's a shot from it this morning. Kind of gives you, it's really starting to take form. See the porte cochere? There's a shot of the brickwork just to give you an idea of what our exterior finish is going to look like all the way around. Here's a shot looking towards the lobby from the porte cochere. Shot of the lobby itself. You can see that the two openings there to the right is an office and or conference room area. The opening to the left will be where the concession stand will be. This is a shot of the banquet halls. You can see the little fur downs that are running horizontally across the ceiling. Those are sort of the dividing points for the banquet rooms. There's 3 separate rooms, with the room in the middle being the largest. Gives you an idea of the overall size of that space when it's opened up. Here's a shot of the kitchen. Obviously it doesn't look like much right now, but I wanted to kind of give you an idea of the space that's in there. The equipment that's mounted to the wall to the left there, those are the hoods, the fume hoods for the fume and exhaust hoods for the stoves, the fryers, and that particular area. But this is going to be a large commercial kitchen. This is the little bonus photo I'm going to throw in here today. This is a Elliser Pond, detention pond. Work has begun on the area detention for that the improvement district has initiated out there that is going to be a big help to us as well as the area properties, the surrounding properties, as far as having a central kind of detention area. As you can see, they've started the clearing for this. They've gone ahead and drained our pond. A lot of benefits to us. We were having problems with excessive runoff from adjoining properties. This gets us out of that. This also gets us out of the detention pond business. If you kind of look across that pond, that's about halfway. And the area to the right will be filled in and will become playground space, additional playground space for us. Going to be close to maybe even a little over an additional acre of playground space that we're going to gain from this. And of course, as you may recall, going back, the improvement district is paying for our portion of this. Real benefit to the district and especially to Ellisville. I talked with the principal today to kind of bring her up to speed on exactly what's happening.
I think work on Egypt Lane is about to begin out there too, in that widening project.
But she's already making plans for that additional playground space. But anyway, just wanted to kind of review that with you. Any questions where we're at?
Tim, I just have a comment for you. I really wish we would put this almost at the beginning of one of our meetings, because if our district knew, I think, the fabulous things you've done for them in this project, it's like the school we just visited.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no telling how many hundreds of thousands of dollars you saved by redesigning that school to make it meet our best needs, yet come way under budget. I mean, and that's been true of this entire project. And so I find the one thing I find disappointing about it is here we're talking about it and there's no one sitting in the room. As this gentleman spoke to about communication, but I really think that there needs to be a way for us to communicate this to everyone that's in our district, because I can tell you, since I came on the board, with what's happened with the bond money and the way that y'all have successfully utilized it, we've changed this district forever. We truly have. We've taken some schools that look like they were back from the 30s and 40s and 50s and turned them into the most modern, beautiful schools. I think that will rival anything. So I truly congratulate you, and I know you do, but I hope that forevermore it's something as you look at it. Kind of like Coach Doty said about those boys, when they look on the wall, they can come back and just see all things they've done. You know, forevermore, you can look back on this and say, I'll have touched all those kids that have forever have gone through those buildings. So I just want to congratulate you on everything you've done for us and for our district.
Well, thank you, Mr. Duncan. It has been a success. It's been a very, I mean, you know, this is the 4th bond project I've been through in this district, and I think it's been by far the most successful from a standpoint of the level of programming that went into it, the level of involvement from the administration and the staff before we ever, you know, before we ever bid the first bit of it out, before we ever laid the first brick. You know, there was a lot of involvement from a lot of folks, and it shows. It shows. And we have, you know, we have done good financially as well. We've definitely taken care of the nickels and dimes.
Well, I think financially we've done phenomenal. I mean, way under budget, but I also think the result is just absolutely phenomenal. So I just have to congratulate you. It's fabulous.
Thank you. Anything else?
We all have to still work with him. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Great job.
That was great, as always. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our consent agenda, and this portion of the agenda consists of items to be routine and will be enacted by one motion unless separate discussion is requested. So if nobody has any questions or comments, then we need a motion that the board approve consent agenda items A and B as presented. Motion by Joe, seconded by Christie. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, now for the considered agenda, Mr. Bell.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here tonight to present the district's annual financial report. We've audited 54 districts in the state of Texas. We've been working with the district for a number of years. Again, it's our honor to be here. Over on page 7 is our independent auditor's report. Very pleased to announce it's an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can give to the district that all the disclosures required by generally accepted accounting principles have been included and the financial statements are materially correct. There's 112 pages in the report, but if you'll jump over to page 30 and 31, I can give you the brief highlights. The general fund is presented in the far left-hand column of page 30. Total revenues for the district came in approximately $107 million. Total expenditures were $104 million. You had other financing sources and usage, which netted out to approximately $1 million, giving you a $1,414,000 increase for the year. You began the year with a fund balance of $28 million, and you ended the year with a fund balance of approximately $30 million. Financial advisors look to fund balance as an indicator of financial health with any governmental organization. In the state of Texas, they refer to it as the rainy day fund. You're typically looking to have about 25% of your operating budget would typically be a good rule of thumb. And so a fund balance of $30 million in comparison to operating expenditures of $104 million, you're in very good shape from a fund balance perspective and should be commended. Over on the right-hand side of the page is a total picture of the district overall, while taking into account all of the funds. Total revenues district-wide came in $137 million. Expenditures came in at $219 million. And again, remember, in a governmental entity, you have capital outlay of bond monies received in prior years to be expended this year. So you do kind of get expenditures exceeding revenues. And then you had operating sources of $37 million come in. Point out one further item to you. Sorry, I did not earmark my page. back on page 79, the National School and Breakfast Lunch Program Fund, Fund number 240. Revenues came in at $5,372,000. Expenditures came in at $5,324,000. After operating financing sources of $48,000, you had a net change for the year of, net change for the year was $48,000. You began the year with a fund balance of $980,000, and you ended the year with a fund balance of $1,030,000 in the school lunch program. There were no findings in terms of compliance with laws and regulations. There were no findings on internal controls, and for a district of this size, that's to be commended. I'm more than happy to entertain any questions the board may have.
We had a lot of time to digest the 116 pages. You guys are very thorough. And it is nice that you go into such description, well, that it's all compiled between all the forces that be, of how teacher pension and all of that is handled, because that's a foreign process to most folks. So we appreciate the fact that you guys put everything in there.
Thank you.
The other thing we appreciate is your willingness to kind of pick us up on short notice after we had to cancel last month. So, I mean, I'm sure there are other people canceling board meetings during some of that time, but we certainly appreciate it.
Felt like we had all the planes lined up and they closed the runway on us.
There you go.
We were trying to get everything rediverted, but glad to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have any questions? All right, looks good. Good stuff, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Bell. Appreciate that.
Mr. Bell and his firm do a fantastic job. They sure assist us a lot with all of our financial efforts.
A lot of work involved in it.
There's a significant amount of work. Like Dr. Stevens mentioned, very glad that one of the partners was able to make it to give us our attention tonight. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so now we need a motion that we approve the 16-17 financial audit as Mr. Belt has presented. So a motion by Chuck, seconded by Kelly. All in favor? The motion passes. Thank you. All right. Dr. Morris.
All right, here to talk about some land. Give the board just a little bit of a background. I know that we've been talking about this piece of land for several months now. Going back to the 2015 bond election, our bond committee, just as previous committees had done, set aside roughly $6 million for future school building sites, which is the right thing to do from a business perspective. We know that land generally appreciates in time, generally speaking. So we set that amount of money aside. We began looking at available land in the area to meet our needs, as well as what we felt was financially a good decision for the district. We located the 42 acres roughly across from Magnolia Parkway Elementary School as a desirable piece of land, depending on the cost. The board back in August approved a resolution giving Dr. Stevens the authority to negotiate on a portion of that land after we further defined, based on district needs, that we were going to focus on roughly 32 acres of that total 42 acres. We began negotiations basically around September 1st. It's been a little bit of a struggle to get both parties in the same location from time to time. But we finally do have a contract, and of course the price is something that we've talked about with the board for several months in a row. So for the roughly 31.745 acres at a cost of $2.6 million is what we are asking for approval for tonight, to be able to move forward with the closing process. Dr. Stevens will sign the contract if approved tonight. Just to kind of put that into perspective a little bit, I know we have several realtors on the board, but comparatively speaking, roughly, and you put that on a per acre basis, and given the location, 1488 frontage of our access road, it's roughly $80,000 an acre, 1.88 per square foot. Many of the comps that we have compared in terms of recent sales have exceeded $2 per square foot. We found some listings that are close to $5 a square foot. So we believe that what we are getting in terms of size of land and location of land and the price is very favorable for the district. I know this is something that we never commit to on the front end, but our thought process and likely use of the land, and again, I know the board is aware of this, but would probably include our 3rd, 5th, and 6th / 7th and 8th grade location. We believe in talking with Mr. Bruner and the architects that piece of land is large enough to house that. And again, we'll see what the needs will dictate in future years, but we believe that will likely be a reasonable use for the property. And without overthinking it, we know it's in a very desirable location directly across from Parkway. So tonight, again, we are asking for board approval of the contract itself for us to then move forward with the closing process. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Were we able to get so that those drives line up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Precisely.
Anybody
The
have any
land on
questions?
1488 is never going to lose
Well,
value.
and we talked about that. We've talked about the decisions of past boards and how great that was. The decisions were made to secure the 72 acres for a 3rd high school many years ago. And we were probably thinking back then that it was fairly expensive, but we know how expensive those areas are now. So I think it's a great move for the district. It prepares us well and takes care of one of our primary needs for 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th as well, in a very desirable location. So.
We good? No questions? I think it took a lot of determination, a lot of diligence,
We've been
a lot
talking
of
about this for a while.
perseverance, and
It seems like it was before August as much discussion has been made.
so great job getting that done. Okay, so we need a motion that the board approves the proposed real estate contract for the purchase of 31.745 acres of land located on FM 1488 Magnolia from a Song Real Properties Texas LLC for $2.6 million plus costs of the transaction as set forth in said real estate sales contract. Motion by Travis, seconded by Sonia. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Moore.
Thank you.
Still have about roughly half, or a little more than half of what we had in that bond sale to keep moving forward, to look at, the growing developments that are coming rapidly to Magnolia. So we're gonna start moving on that here pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, anything else we need to cover, Dr. Todd?
We're good.
Okay, at this time, the board will now recess to move into closed executive session for the purposes permitted by personnel discussion recommendations pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551.074 and discussion of purchase, sale, exchange, or value of real property pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551.072. Thank you, guys.